We have a massive Cowboys move incoming as there are multiple updates on a Micah Parsons contract extension, all coming from Adam Schefter. Now, he says that this deal will be happening very, very soon, so stick around. We'll tell you what he said and the latest on Micah right here on Cowboys Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend it here with us. If you're new, go down there and click that red subscribe button. It's 100% free, and we're giving you the latest updates, news, and information on the Dallas Cowboys 365 days a year. You do not want to miss any piece of news, information, or update. Well, then subscribe because we'll get it to you as soon as it comes out. Today's update is Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys are expecting a contract extension in the coming weeks. And oh, what a glorious day that will be, because that has been the story of the offseason pretty much for the past five or 6 weeks now, is the Micah Parsons contract extension. We all figured that it would be coming eventually, but now we're getting literal evidence, reporters, insiders saying, yes, this is going to happen, and there are some details that they're throwing in there as well. So we'll start from the baseline of this report as we go into it with Josh Sanchez of Dallas Cowboys SI. He says, quote, Parsons is in line for a blockbuster contract extension, but has still been doing his part and coming around the team during mandatory minicamp and during the first voluntary workouts of the year. However, the team continues to drag its feet when it comes to inking the superstar defender to a new deal. But that could all be changing, quote, in the coming weeks, end quote. So that is the quote that is being kind of thrown out there. In the coming weeks. And what that comes from is Adam Schefter. You see, we go to a report from Bleacher Report kind of talking about why in the coming weeks is such a key detail. Josh Zucker of Bleacher Report says this, quote, the Dallas Cowboys and star edge rusher Micah Parsons are making progress toward a massive contract extension. This is all according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Schefter reported Thursday on Get Up that most people believe the deal will get done for Micah Parsons at some point this summer, end quote. And so that is a huge thing. Micah Parsons is a key part of this Dallas Cowboys defense, and he's on an expiring contract and, quite frankly, just deserves a new deal. He deserves to get paid like a top defensive player in the NFL because that's what he is. He is a top defensive player in the NFL. And so, what exactly is this contract going to look like? How is it going to come about? What is Jerry Jones going to do to make sure that Micah Parsons does not play for any other team for any time in the foreseeable future, even though Kevin Durant is saying that he should go play for the Commanders? Well, Adam Schefter had this today on Get Up on ESPN saying, quote, and when it does get done, talking about the Micah Parsons contract, it is expected to make him the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. It will be a huge number. It should surpass Myles Garrett's, and it'll give Micah Parsons that distinction. And most people believe that the deal will get done at some point here in the coming weeks, end quote. So there it is, in the coming weeks. Now, how long does in the coming weeks mean? Well, it could mean next week. It could mean the end of July. I mean, it really is kind of up to interpretation on what exactly in the coming weeks means. And so for right now, we can just speculate, but that does give us a little bit of insight into what this contract will be like. And so that's a huge thing. Now, if we try to look at Micah and his contract, you have to look at his stats because this guy deserves to be paid like a top-end defensive player. Last year, 13 games, obviously the injury. He had 12 sacks in those 13 games, though 12 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and he hit the QB 23 times. And while the stats are great, and obviously you look at those and see some fantastic numbers, the real thing that sets him apart, and honestly to me, the underlying things that really can make you get you a bigger contract is your PFF grades, as your under the hood type stuff. And Micah Parsons is excellent at his under the hood type stuff. His overall grade of a 90 ranks 6th in edge rushers in the NFL. His 91.6 pass rush grade ranks him 4th in all edge rushers in the NFL. And his run defense grade is not amazing, but it's still league average, actually above league average, ranking him 72nd out of 211 edge rushers in the NFL. And it's exactly why he will be paid like a top defensive player. He's also in a big market with the Dallas Cowboys. He is one of, if not the best draft picks they have had in the past decade. And he runs this defense. Let's be quite frank. When Micah was not on the field last year, it was a very different defense. And because there are still injury concerns, Trevon Diggs, we don't know if he's going to be ready for week 1. You really want to make sure that you put the best defense out there that you have available. Micah Parsons would play. I'm not worried about him holding out or doing anything like that. But I don't want to have to worry or have a contract weighing over this guy's head. I don't think it would. I think it'd actually make him play better. But that would make his price go up, especially as more defensive players get signed. It kind of resets that defensive market. And so what is that defensive market at this current time? Well, I took the liberty of looking up the top 10 or other top 15 highest paid defensive players to kind of get a look into what a Micah Parsons contract extension would look like. Now, as we know from Adam Schefter, he says that this deal will surpass Myles Garrett's NFL league leading $40 million a year. So what was the jump for Myles Garrett? Because you're probably thinking that's what Micah, he's going to want to jump, that much higher from as much as Myles Garrett did from 2 to 1, as, Micah will do from Myles Garrett to himself. So Max Crosby had the previous highest paid NFL defensive player at $35.5 million, and then going down the line, Nick Bosa at $34, Chris Jones had a $31.79, Derek Stingley Jr. got $30 million. There is a lot of money to be had throughout this top 15, going down all the way to Danielle Hunter, down at tied for 12th down there with a couple other guys at $24.5 million. And so if you're thinking about what Micah Parsons is expecting / what his agent is asking for / what he is deserving of, personally, I think there's a couple of ways the Cowboys could go about this. They could try and lowball it, but again, going back to this quote here, this is Adam Schefter, Josh Sanchez again kind of repurposing it, but it will be a huge number. It's going to surpass Myles Garrett, which we know is $40 million, and he wants that distinction. He wants that distinction. That's what he wants, which rightfully so. He deserves that distinction. He is one of the best players in the NFL, not just on defense, but for even offense. He obviously you can't, he's not an offensive player, but if you put and rank the top 10 best players in the NFL, I'd be hard pressed to say Micah Parsons does not go in there. Especially if you take out the quarterback bias, because I'm done with that. Here's my prediction right here. I'm expecting it to be north of $42 million. Maybe closing in on $45 million. However, Micah Parsons wants the distinction of being the top paid NFL defensive player. I don't know if the Cowboys are going to go so much to pay him $5 million more to make that distinction. But I do think he's going to want a $2 million gap. And so I think it'll be north of $42 million. If I had to ink it right now, I would say 43. Split the difference around the area of 42, 45. I think 43, 43.5 is probably what I would offer to Micah Parsons. And you could get that done with a couple of contract situations. The Cowboys do only have $30 million in cap space, but there's signing bonuses, there's stuff like that to where you could take off some other guys from that cap and easily make this contract work. It's not going to be that big a deal. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about getting Micah Parsons in a Cowboys jersey for the foreseeable future. And when there are rumors flying, Fanatics Fest and Kevin Durant saying he should go to the Commanders and all that stuff, lock him down, Jerry. Lock him down. He is by far the most important player on the defensive side of the ball. I'd argue in terms of important players in the Cowboys, he might be number one. I guess you could probably argue Dak or CeeDee, but he's probably 1 or 2 right there. He is a very important player to this team. We saw he was injured last year, and the Cowboys won 7 games. I'm not saying that it was because of his injury and that the games would have been different if he was there, but I'm just saying he's important, and he deserves to be paid as so. So Jerry Jones, I'm looking at you. You have a guy who is having these PFF numbers. You have not had a guy like that in a pretty long time. Do yourself a favor, go out there and sign this guy to the contract that he deserves. He deserves it. Go get it. He's only 26 years old. He is still very much got a lot of NFL prime left in him. And now is your time to ink him, get him in a Cowboys uniform, get that nice photo with him with the new contract, and we can move on with the rest of this year and hopefully focus on this being a winning team. Let me know in the comment section, what are your thoughts? Do you think the Cowboys should pay him the $42 million? Do you think they should offer him the $41? Do you think it's a dumb deal? I mean, that's an option. What are your opinions on what is expected to be happening for Micah Parsons over the next coming weeks? Again, up to interpretation what that means, but let me know again in the comment section what you think of this deal. What do you think it will be at, and all of it down below. We will see you next time here on Cowboys Digest, but for now, we'll say peace out.